Yeah.
So you don't make big, huge action genre movies where people fly off buildings. You make movies that are in some ways more imaginative.
When everything gets big, it's not going to be fun anymore. And I've always had the most fun in the small, independent films.
It was made for very little money, and it was very much, it sort of felt like a family affair.
I don't try to identify exactly the workings. When it's working well, it's like falling in love. You don't think too hard about it, you just fall.
And what's fabulous is that year after year, independent pictures still go out and do great box office.
Hello, I'm Charles Champlin. And a lot of us who love the movies believe that some of the very best of them come these days from the independent sector, made outside the major studios with their huge budgets and their timidities. The indies, more often made on a shoestring, can be tough, outspoken, outrageous, courageous, original, and terrifically affecting, and they are. Today, here in the Beverly Hills Hotel, the Independent Feature Project West, an organization of some 2,300 independent filmmakers, distributors, and supporters, is handing out its annual Spirit Awards. And the nominated work is high proof just how important independent films have become in the market. There's The Grifters, Mr. and Mrs. Bridge, Wild at Heart, To Sleep with Anger, Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Others, less well-known so far, like Lightning Over Braddock. And from abroad, The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover, and Australian Jane Campion's Sweetie. And we're about to meet some of these very spirited, independent filmmakers.
My name is Charles Burnett. I'm the director and writer of To Sleep with Anger. And the film's been nominated for Independent Spirit Awards and a number of categories, and we're quite pleased and happy.
I'm Tisha Campbell.
It's Reggie Hudlin.
I'm Kid. Warrington Hudlin.
Exetta Harris for Robert Harris.
Play.
And the movie is
House Party.
As far as this nomination deal, I'm surprised. You know, I'm incredibly honored.
I'm Whit Stillman, director of Metropolitan. This is Carolyn Farina, who is nominated for Best Actress.
Hi.
I do all the talking.
Well, I'm Bruce Davison, and I'm nominated for a Spirit Award for Longtime Companion.
Okay, I'm Michael Rooker. I'm the actor. I played Henry. And here's the my other two actors in the movie. My other two actors in this movie was Tommy Doe.
I'm Annette Funicello. And, I'm sorry. Wrong movie. No. I'm Tom Tolles, and this is
Tracy Arnold.
Tracy Arnold, my sister in the movie. Sister in the movie.
She's on your right.
Who's behind you?
Rick Paul.
Rick Paul, a victim, set decorator, props, art director.
Art director and production designer. And
Hi.
this, unfortunately for everyone, is
John McNaughton, director.
co-writer, co-producer.
Steve Jones, co-producer, music composer.
I'm Ben Lang, and I played the kosher caterer in The Plot Against Harry.
Well, we grew up together in a little town in Alabama, and we said one day we was gonna make a movie together.
We all slept in the same bed.
Let's stop all the fun, y'all. Personally, they couldn't pay me enough money to work with this guy again.
I don't want to be around my husbands anymore, all right?
Hey, outside! Outside! Nah, it's a family atmosphere here. It was a little rough in the beginning, you know, a whole lot of different ways transforming into one, but as you can see, we got the pops here, we got the two fathers here, got someone of the mother here, even though she don't look the part, and right here we got the daughter, got the illegitimate son, and we got the prodigal son right here. Well, I think what happened is I got a really good cast that identified very strongly with the roles, you know, and we tried to make it an ensemble group where everyone was a participant and that like no star-like thing. I mean, Danny was very great because he you know, was just another character, and the whole idea was to get the story across, not any individuals. Yeah. And so we all worked for that end.
And he let us put our 2 cents in.
Yes.
We could say what we wanted to do. I was a female lead. What does that mean? I stayed alive through the whole film, so.
Normal Heart was a little scary. By the time I got to Longtime Companion, I'd gotten over a lot of my fear. And it's been, both of them have been, I guess, the 2 most rewarding experiences I've had as an actor.
There was a lot of me in there. And
reading the script, I just kind of knew it just all sort of flowed, you know. And then when we did the rehearsals and everything, it all seemed to just come together very nicely.
There's a lot of negative attitude about the subject matter. Metropolitan is a comedy about a group of socialites in Manhattan, and a lot of people didn't like the sort of rich kid milieu, the idea of a film about that. But once the film was done, we started getting really positive festival reaction. So we were really delighted with the reviews, but we weren't totally shocked. We were hoping for that.
We did the movie for about $125,000, and all local people out of Chicago. Everybody worked real hard. It was almost everyone's very first feature, and you know, wherever that movie had gone, if it had been seen in the least little bit, we'd all been very satisfied.
I'm surprised every day the more attention it gets. I didn't think anybody'd see the film or distribute it, and each step has been a sort of a little miracle.
I was as much surprised as everyone else as being the nominee. As a matter of fact, I had completely forgotten about the existence of the picture because it was on the shelf for 20 years.
It came about just wanting to do a film that says something particular about the black experience that we can all share in, you know, and just sort of help to break down some of the barriers and things that, you know, I think sort of has been created largely by Hollywood and the sort of myths about black people, you know, because we're not all involved in drugs and crime and stuff like that. You know, we're members of the human race, and I think we should be portrayed as such. And I think the film and the actors really wanted to do that.
Well, the Oscar nomination costs a lot of money, and so, you know, we spent that much, we wanted to get it. But no, yeah, we were really surprised. It's very hard for an independent film to get noticed by the Academy.
Independence is a state of mind.
Well, look, is there anyone having lunch here today, or anywhere else for that matter, who hasn't made a film, isn't making a film, isn't planning to make a film, or isn't married to or sleeping with someone who has bought or sold an idea for an outline based on something adapted from an incident derived from a suggestion made, reported on, or overheard at a previous lunch? I doubt it. I was on a bus the other day in New York, and I asked for a transfer, and I started looking at it to check the transfer points, and the bus driver said to me, "Don't bother, it's already optioned." And I saw him later at the Golden Globes, and he won. What the hell is going on? And what's going on here? I mean, isn't this exactly what I predicted? Lights, cameras, funereal music, expensive tables with silverware. Remember just a few years ago when this once modest event took place in a now justifiably defunct restaurant in an unfashionable section of La Cienega where, dressed in cut-off jeans and tank tops, we happy few, gorged on swill and rot gut, and basically ogled each other for a couple of hours before giving out cheap trinkets to celebrate the making of films, many of which cost less than one of Joel Silver's cufflinks. Not anymore. Just a few restaurants and hotels later, and here we are, crawling rung by rung up the ladder of respectability to the attic in which live the three weird sisters of show business: publicity, celebrity, and glitz. Why me?
It's like staring out into a sea of faces as the covered wagons draw in and see who the survivors are. Year by year, like chickens delivering eggs, you struggle against the odds to deliver the new, the bold, the innocent, the fresh. My admiration goes out to you because it isn't easy, as we know, to keep that dream fresh. Doug MacArthur said, "You're as young as your hope, and you're as old as your despair." I urge you to keep on dreaming, and never, never give the bastards on the other side the benefit of the doubt.
I was desperately looking for an independent filmmaker and stumbled into one on my table. So I have this, and I'll be taking this home with me. All the people I see here tonight, there are some independent minds in here who are doing quite well, who are not on the fringe, who are inside, and I'm proud of their individuality and the way they approach their business. The battle of the independent is not with the studio. The perception can never be that they don't want you. This is clearly a business that makes room for good people. The battle that exists is with yourselves, and it's with myself. And it's our ability to face the facts, to face reality. The reality is, if you're good, they cannot keep you out. You've heard me say they a lot, and I wish I could take it out on this fucking speech, because I don't really mean they. There is no they. There is no covert. Is there, Oliver? Is there a secret group keeping us down, the independent down? There is no group. The they is you. The problem that exists for you is the same that exists for me. It's the same that exists for Andy, and it's the same that exists for Michael Ovich. Because God knows I ask him every time we talk, where is the good material? Where are the scripts? You know, for a business that cloaks itself in creativity, it's an almost monotonous question that we go through. It's the one constant in this business that never goes away. And the magic of reading a script alone at night after having waited through 50, and suddenly the pages start to turn faster than the page before. You find yourself rushing through, hoping beyond hope that the last 30 pages are as good as the first 90. You find yourself running in to wake up your wife, your husband, your lover. You wake them up out of a dead sleep, and you tell them that you've just read something that you want to make a part of your life. They usually roll over and say, Jesus Christ. Okay. I'll read it. When that happens, that is a product of hard work, simple and fair. And I will not quit until I find the person who has done that work and try to be a part of the dream with him, the great script. I think of the great script in terms of maybe a fishing term. I think of it as power bait. I think you can catch anybody in this town, unless, of course, there's some other agenda at work. And that I can never understand, because if you are to make movies for any other reason than to make them to be proud of them, I won't ask you to leave the room, but I would suggest that you'll be bored by this kind of old-fashioned talk.
This is the 6th year of the Independent Spirit Awards. Once again, the community of independent filmmakers gathers to honor and pay tribute to its own. The awards go to independent films defined for the purposes of this award as films made outside the development and production apparatus of the studio system, which have been nominated by a diverse committee of filmmakers, writers, and independents. It's an honor just to be nominated. Well, that's what it says. The nominees are then voted on by the entire IFP membership. Some of them actually see the films. Others use Ouija boards and numerology. The ballots were tabulated and I know you want to know this, by KPMG, Pete Marwicks, Dave Merritt, and Tom Nussbaum. And they'll be appearing in love letters at the Cannon Theater. To present the awards for Best Cinematography, Terry Garr and Carol Kane.
We congratulate all of the nominees for Best Cinematography, and they are Boyan Bazelli for King of New York, Peter Deming for House Party, Fred Elmes for Wild at Heart,
Emir Mokri for Life is Cheap, but toilet paper is expensive. How true that is. And Robert Young for The Truth About Harry.
and the winner is...
Winner is... Okay, you can...
Oh, okay. The winner is Fred Elmes, Wild at Heart.
Lula.
Peanut!
Hey, baby.
Wow.
Baby, I got a surprise for you.
Hey, my snakeskin jacket! Thanks, baby! Did I ever tell you that this here jacket represents a symbol of my individuality and my belief in personal freedom?
About 50,000 times. I got us a room at the Cape Pier, and guess what? Paramed's playing at the Hurricane.
Stabbing and steer.
Great, thank you. It's a pleasure to receive this honor from a group of people who really make the kinds of films that I, love to go see in the movie theaters. I guess we should thank Kodak and Panavision also for helping to make Wild at Heart possible. I want to thank my director who gave me the inspiration to do some good work. But really, I want to thank the crew who don't get up here and don't receive the awards and always stand behind the camera, the people who set the lights and move the camera around for us and do the makeup and the hair and the styling and the whole art department who really make me, look best. Thank you.
Here to present the award for Best Screenplay are Marlee Maitland and Mario Van Peebles.
Nominees for the Best Screenplay are Charles Burnett, To Sleep with Anger, John McNaughton and Richard Fire of Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, and last, and Alan Moyle for Pump Up the Volume.
Michael Romer for The Plot Against Harry. And Whit Stillman for Metropolitan. And the winner is?
I'm gonna do that in her voice. Charles Burnett, To Sleep with Anger. Wow.
I have to know who is in my house.
You invited me.
Yes, I did. But only if you are a good man. A friend. Are you a friend, Harry?
Like that boy next door, playing his horn. If he was a friend, he would stop irritating people. But if he stops practicing, he wouldn't be perfect at what he does someday.
I want you to leave.
Charles Burnett, congratulations on To Sleep with Anger. Quite a struggle to get the film made, I guess.
It was.
Yes. How long were you involved with trying to find...
I think it took about 2.5 years to get the financing.
Uh-huh. Has it found audiences to some extent? I mean...
Not really. I think it's a matter of distribution and trying to get the money to advertise and so forth. There's certainly the audience then.
But perhaps the Spirit Award will will help and bring more attention on the film, which it,
hopefully, yeah.
which it really does deserve.
Here to present the award for Best Supporting Actor are M. Emmett Walsh and Rosanna Arquette.
The nominees for Best Supporting Actor are Willem Dafoe for Wild at Heart, Bruce Davison for Longtime Companion, Robin Harris for House Party,
Ben Lang for the plot against Terry, and Tom Towles for Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
and the winner is Bruce Davison, Longtime Companion.
I feel that something's happening in my body. Now, I'm not talking about John, I'm talking about me. I feel like something is stalking me. I know you think I'm being melodramatic.
Did you sleep with someone else?
No.
Well, then you can't have AIDS. Because I haven't touched another man since we were in Key West, 1980. Unless you can pick it up on a toilet seat.
I don't know how long it's going to take to germinate.
Well, it's not going to take 4 years.
Incubate?
Incubate. Did you sleep with John?
No, I did not sleep with him.
And then there's nothing to worry about.
My side of the bed was soaking this morning.
Well, so is mine, because it's summer. In the summer, it is hot,
Fine.
and we don't have air conditioning. What?
I'm not a child.
I know
Stop
you're
talking
not
to
a
me like I'm a child.
I know.
Congratulations, Bruce Davison.
Thank you.
This is at least the second time you've been honored for this, isn't it?
Yes, actually, the Golden Globes and the National Film Critics and the New York Film Critics,
Yeah.
which are...
It must be a great satisfaction to you.
It's quite a ride. Every step has been really miraculous. But like I said before, I really think it's not me alone that's carrying this. And it's wonderful to be a part of it.
Here to present the award for Best Supporting Actress are Barbara Hershey and John Glover.
The nominees for Best Supporting Actress are Tracy Arnold for Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, Ethel Ayler for To Sleep with Anger,
Tisha Campbell, House Party. A.J. Johnson for House Party. Sheryl Lee Ralph, To Sleep with Anger.
and the winner is Sheryl Lee Ralph, To Sleep with Anger.
If it wasn't for people who write and direct like Charles Burnett, I wouldn't be able to have this chance to stand up here, accept this award from you for my good work, because you wouldn't get to see it, because so many still don't believe. I'm a human being. I exist in the industry. I love my art, and when I say I mean all of my peers who are so talented, who would accept it just like me if they could only get the job, if they could only get the script, if they could only be seen as thinking, feeling, human being females who just happen to be women of color, in my case, black. Thank you, Charles Burnett. Thank you.
In your acceptance speech, you made a wonderful statement about how proud you were as a black woman, a black actress, to have this award. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's important to me because, you know, I accept the award for so many of my peers who, if they were only the scripts, if they were only thought of more often, they'd be up there, they'd be accepting more awards. But nobody's thinking about them. Nobody's thinking about us. They're not writing the stories, and we're not getting the chance. And it is 1991, and they can't name me one leading black female dramatic actress right now. They can't name me one because there isn't one, and because nobody has taken the time to develop one. So for me and all of my peers, I accept the award gladly.
Here to present the award for Best First Feature is Annette Bening.
Nominees for Best First Feature are House Party, director Reginald Hudlin, producer Warrington Hudlin, Lightning Over Braddock, producer and director Tony Buba, Metropolitan, producer director Whit Stillman, The Natural History of Parking Lots, director Everett Lewis, producer Aziz Ghazal, and Twister, director Michael Almereda, producer Wieland Schultz-Kiel. And the winner is Metropolitan, producer director Whit Stillman.
So you had a trust fund. The pieces are beginning to fall into place.
I don't have one anymore.
Well, that's less important. I mean, sociologically, I mean, what's important is having grown up with the assumption of material security. It explains a lot.
I call.
You had no cards. Why'd you call?
I felt like it.
Playing strip poker with an exhibitionist somehow takes the challenge away.
I think that the truth of making independent films is we don't really start out wanting to make independent films, that we'd prefer to graduate from college and be given the chance to, or graduate from maybe high school or elementary school and start making films without having to go the independent route. But when we are obliged to go the independent route, we often find there are many, many great things about it, that we learn to sort of to love all the problems and all the opportunities, and we want to stay doing it the same way. I'm very grateful to New Line Cinema for ignoring the Salt Lake City reviews before they bought the film, and thank you very much.
Here to present the award for Best Director is Andy Garcia.
Thank you. I'm truly honored to be here. I'm invited again next year. Kevin, you cease to amaze me. You're still the toughest act to follow, and I'll follow you anywhere. Sheryl Lee, I'll kiss you anytime. I don't care who comes to see it. The nominees for Best Picture are Charles Burnett, To Sleep with That. I'm sorry, the nominees for the Best Director are Charles Burnett, stop laughing, To Sleep with Anger. Reginald Hudlin, House Party. John McNaughton, Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Alan Moyle, Pump Up the Volume. Martin Roma, The Plot Against Harry. And the winner is Charles Burnett, To Sleep with Anger.
That is a damn lie, and you know it. Every time Father asks you to do something, you either half-ass do it or you run off and hide. Mama asked you to turn the dirt in her garden, and you told her with your smart-ass self that you weren't a farmer. Get Junior to do it. Every time somebody asks you to do something, you say, tell Junior to do it. Boy, you ought to grow up. I told you about calling me boy. See, I ain't no boy, see. You and Dad got a bad habit of calling me boy. You call me boy in front of my wife? Yeah. You think I'm gonna fix the roof? Yeah. Huh? I hope the whole damn thing blows off and it pours down rain. I ought to break your damn neck. Yeah. Yeah, I'm leaving. Don't even call me when the shoe falls, because all he ever did for me was try to run my life. I'm so sick of people trying to run my life, you know? Babe brother this, babe brother that. What's my name? You dumb ass, it's Babe Brother. My name is Sam. Samuel. Sit down.
This gives me another opportunity to thank a number of people again. The same people, of course, especially Mr. Pressman and Cotty Chubin, all the actors, and Mr. Tom Rothman and Goldwyn for picking up the film when no one else did. But you know, like I said, there are a number of people behind the camera who are very wonderful and special, who believe in the film, and it made it easier for me to direct the film. And I really like to thank them, and thank you again. Thank you.
Here to present the award for Best Actor is Tim Robbins. Asked to define his craft, actor Alec Guinness once said, "I try to do as little as possible." Funny guy. Nominees for Best Actor are Danny Glover, To Sleep with Anger; Martin Priest, The Plot Against Harry; Chris Reed, House Party; somebody better give them something back there. Michael Rooker, Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer; scared the shit out of me; and Christian Slater in Pump Up the Volume. The winner is Danny Glover, To Sleep with Anger.
Mr. Glover, you were also one of the producers of To Sleep with Anger.
Yeah, I was one of the executive producers, yes.
Yeah. So how did that come about? I mean, you just obviously fell in love with that material, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I really, it's not the easiest material to fall in love with. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's just you just feel something. And I think what happened initially was that the film just moved me gutturally in some sort of way. Yeah. It reminded me of something, and it wanted me to, and someone gave me the incentive to find out more about what I didn't know. What was this feeling that I was feeling once upon me? Why did this script or this story tend to linger with me in some sort of way? And that was
really interesting part, because it's part reality and part almost surrealism, isn't it?
It is quite
tough thing for an actor to get hold of, I should think.
Well, I think you never play the realism. I mean, the surrealism. You never look at that. Yeah. I think that like any character you take on, he has certain needs. He has certain adjustments. You know, there's certain things that he wants. You know, and whatever the character is.
So here to present the award for Best Actors are Laura Dern and Edward James Olmos.
The nominees for Best Actress are Mary Alice, To Sleep with Anger; Esther Ballant, Bail Jumper; Carolyn Farina in Metropolitan;
Anjelica Huston for The Grifters;
And Joanne Woodward for Mr. and Mrs. Briggs.
And the winner is Anjelica Huston.
Dylan, cornball clown pictures, commission salesman. It's all a front. You're working some angle, and don't tell me you're not, because I wrote the book.
You want to talk? You still running playback money for the mob?
That's me. That's who I am. You were never cut out for the rackets, Roy.
How come?
You aren't tough enough.
Not as tough as you, huh?
How'd you get that punch in the stomach, Roy?
I tripped on a chair.
Get off the grift, Roy.
Why?
You haven't got the stomach for it.
Well, this is great. Independence usually gets me in trouble, so I'm very relieved to be here among you independents, and also to have been part of the Grifters. I'd like to thank Stephen Frears, Martin Scorsese, and Barbara DeFina, our fabulous distributors at Miramax, the innovative Harvey and Bob Weinstein, Tony Howard, Bodie Boatwright, Susan Geller, and my special thanks to Kevin Costner for not being a woman. And for those of you who are interested or might like to pass by table 2 on your way out of here this evening, you can see my wig for the sequel for Grifters. Also an independent movie. I thank you all very much.
Here to present the award for the best foreign film is Isabella Rossellini.
Thank you. The category of Best Foreign Film was created to honor those films which express an independent spirit, but which are a foreign organization or are co-production. The nominees are Black Rain, directed by Shohei Imamura, City of Sadness, director Hoshe Hoshen-hu, The Cook, The Thief, there's a lot of THs that I cannot say, His Wife and Her Lover by Peter Greenaway, Freeze, Die, and Come to Life, directed by Vitaly Kanevsky, and Sweetie by Jane Campion. And the winner is Sweetie, director Jane Campion.
I'm coming in. Surprise! What are you doing here? You know you're not allowed. You broke the bloody window. I'm really mad at you.
It wouldn't open, Kay. It was really stiff.
Of course it was. It was locked.
Yeah, well, I couldn't get it to open.
Why, Sweetie says that you're a really nice lady.
Who's he?
My producer. Bob, meet Kay. Kay, Bob.
You've stopped taking your medication, haven't you?
Yeah, well, Bob and I are really going to walk through some doors, Kay. We're really getting it together.
Tell him to take off Louis's jacket. You can't stay, you know that.
Oh, yeah, well, if it wasn't so late, we'd go, you know, but I just wanted to see you and say hi there.
Jane Campion, congratulations on Sweetie. Your next film also has won at the Cannes Film Festival this year, I think. Was that?
At Venice Festival,
Venice
actually,
Festival.
it won the jury prize.
Uh-huh. Angel at My Table.
Yeah.
How did you get Sweetie going in Australia? I mean, as an independent film, was it tough to find financing or backing for it? Or no?
I think it was quite tough, but I mean, I think compared to some stories, I don't think it was nearly as difficult. I think the crunch moment was I was sent to talk to some likely investors, and they asked me to tell the story because they didn't think there was a story there, and that they heard it was funny, and they didn't think it was, couldn't see what was humorous about it. I thought, oh God, this is a tall order. So I started to tell them the story, and as I was watching them, they were looking a little bit bored, so I sort of went, and that was it, you know. Sort of caught a way through, and they were so relieved, I think, that it was, you know, that much of a story, or that, and they just sort of, I don't know, they had this feeling of wanting to impress me in the end and sort of say, okay, we'll put the money in, which is what they happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, here to present the award for Best Feature is Jodie Foster.
Best Feature. The Grifters, produced by Martin Scorsese, Robert Harris, and James Payton. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, producer John McNaughton, Lisa Dedman, Stephen A. Jones. The Plot Against Harry, producer Robert Young and an old professor of mine, Michael Romer. Pump Up the Volume, producer Rupert Harvey and Sandy Stern. And To Sleep with Anger, producer Caldecott, well, Cotty Chubb, Thomas Burns, and Darren Scott. And the winner is The Grifters. Martin Scorsese, Robert Harris, James Payton, Miramax. All right.
Really? You're Roy's mother? That's impossible.
Not quite. But I'm not sure who you are, Mrs. Langtree, was it?
I'm Roy's friend.
Yes. I imagine you're lots of people's friend.
Oh, of course. Now that I see you in the light, you're plenty old enough to be Roy's mother.
Aren't we all?
Play nice, don't fight.
Darling.
Roy, you're gonna be all right.
Sure I am. What am I doing here?
Marty couldn't be here, so I'd like to thank you all on his behalf. Would also like to thank Stephen Frears, Donald Westlake, Peggy Reisky, all the people who really worked hard and made the movie, the cast and the crew, and our Anjelica. We're also thrilled. And this is Marty's first real recognition as a producer, and I want you to know this award is really going to be very special to him. Thank you.
Barbara DeFina, Robert Harris, and Jim Payton, congratulations on The Grifters.
Thank you, Jim.
Was it a hard film to get going? I'm just kind of curious.
It took a long time. We walked around for a year or so without much attention being paid to us.
It was Marty that really got it going. I mean, it would have been impossible without, let's be blunt, his clout. And his ability to just go to people and say, we want to do this thing. And from the beginning, he said, we're going to get it done.
What was the problem? That it seemed too tough? I mean, that was it.
You know, it's the same story. It was turned down, I think, at every major studio.
Yeah.
It was in development for 3 minutes at Disney. Not their kind of material, I think, the way we made it anyway. But it's very hard material. The ending was especially difficult for people to accept. People wanted to change the end.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was what the movie was about. You know?
A lot of people who know Jim Thompson and know his work, people in the studios when we first had it, they said they admired him, but they just could never get it made.
Congratulations, Grifters. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This concludes the first half of this afternoon's program.
I won once this independent award 5 years ago.
You really do need to form a family on films. There's no other way to do it, I mean, and to be honest.
For me, it was, well, yes, tough maybe, but very gripping and the kind of stuff you love to play.
The Independent Award is really important to me because nobody would make this film.
The independent films are right in there with the best of studio pictures, and so I think it's really part of the community now.
I always feel like they're more from the heart.